Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Ruktim Banerjee. I'm just going to upload my first YouTube video here, and let me introduce myself before I start. I am Ruktim Banerjee. I'm a qualified cost accountant. I would say I'm an associate member of the Institute of Cost and Works Accountant of India, and apart from that, I'm an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Securities and Investment, which is in UK. That was established back in 1992. It's specialized in the financial service domain. And apart from that, I've got overall 9 years of experience across various organizations. I've worked on the manufacturing, I've worked on the banking, I've worked on the consulting industries as well. So today I'm going to start by uploading a video that will talk about Rule 43 of the GST. See, I have come across several people who are struggling to get an understanding of what does Rule 43 is all about and how to approach on this, because they find it to be very critical, but to me it seems to be very easy. We just need to have a proper understanding about this. So let me start with this Rule 43. What does it talk about? We all know that we are eligible to get the input tax credit in respect of the output supplies, right? Whenever we are purchasing any goods, we pay GST, and that same GST is utilized as credit, right, for by the businesses. Now in case of Rule 43, it states that how to treat the input tax credit when the capital goods is used in respect of both taxable supplies and also non-taxable supplies, right? Now I'll go step by step. If you have any issues, then do let me know. I'll come back in my next video. Okay, this is my first video, so I don't have much resources available with me, so whatever I have, based on that, I'm just making this video. Going forward, I'll try to make it better and better based on your feedbacks and all. Okay, so let's start anyway. Now, for example, to start with, let's say you have got a turnover of rupees 2 lakh, right? 50% of which, let's do taxable turnover, and 50% is non-taxable turnover. Okay, 50-50, 1 lakh 1 lakh. Okay, now to get that turnover, you have used a capital goods worth rupees 50,000. The useful life of that capital goods, say for example 5 years. Okay, the turnover is 2 lakh. The value of taxable turnover is 1 lakh. Non-taxable turnover is 1 lakh. 50-50. Okay, now the capital goods value is 50,000. Okay, so we paid GST. 50,000 on 50,000, which is 18%, comes to 9,000, right? 50,000 into 18%, 9,000. Okay, now in 5 years, how many months are there in 5 years? 60 months, correct? Now we have paid GST of 9,000. 50,000 into 18%, right? 9,000. So 9,000 is the total GST that we have paid for the entire 5 years, right, at one go. Now for 60 months, it means that we paid 9,000 for 60 months. So how much of the amount that we paid per month, if we calculate on monthly basis, that is 150 rupees per month. 9,000 divided by 60. Okay, 150 rupees. Now our total turnover is 2 lakh, out of which 50% is taxable, 50% is not taxable. So in that case, the portion of capital goods that has been used in respect of the exempted turnover has to be reversed, because we have taken the ITC. Okay, the ITC portion has to be reversed. So then what is the amount that we need to reverse is 150, that is the per month GST that we have paid, what we are claiming, and 50% turnover is exempted, means 150 into 50%, which means 75 rupees we have to reverse monthly. So for the first quarter, what is the amount that we need to reverse? 75 into 3, which means 225. That is the amount that we have to reverse from the first quarter, and that would be added in the output tax liability in the GSTR 3B. And also we have to mention that while filing the GSTR 9. Now if the second quarter, if the turnover changes, we'll apply the same methodology, but the amount that we are reversing in this quarter will get changed, because the turnover will change. The turnover will not remain fixed, right? If in the second quarter, let's say for example turnover comes down to 1 lakh now, and the ratio remains same, 50% is exempted and 50% is non-exempted. If it is like that only, then in that case also we have to reverse the same amount, 75. Now if in this 1 lakh we have got 70% related to taxable and 30% is exempted, then what happened? Then 30% of 150, 9,000 divided by 150 that we have calculated earlier, it is 9,000 divided by 60, that is 150 that we have calculated earlier. So 150 into what did I say? 70% is taxable, 30% is not taxable. So 150 into 30%, which means 45 rupees. So in the first quarter we have to revise 45 into 3, that is 135. So that needs to be added in the output tax liability, because that we have to pay, we have to reverse it, and that the rest of the portion we can utilize it, we don't have to reverse it, and that has to be mentioned in GST 9 as well accordingly. So that's the way it goes. Now what happens in case of developers? This is a different aspect. Now say for example a developer build a project for, let's say, 50,000 square feet, 10 flats. Out of that, let's say for example 10 flats mean 5,000 square feet. Out of that 50,000, let's say 12,000 square feet is they couldn't sold. Okay, 50,000 square feet and 12,000 square feet remain unsold, rest of the part sold. Now the portion which is not sold, we cannot take the input tax credit in respect of that. So what is the portion that we have to reverse? Out of 50,000, 12,000 is 24%. So the ITC claimed in respect of the 24% turnover has to be reversed. If the total turnover, if the capital goods relate to 1 lakh, in this case, and the total the GST is 18%, means 18,000. So for 18,000 we have to reverse that 18,000 divided by 60. If the value of the useful life of the goods is 60 months, so 300 rupees. So 300 into 24%, 72 rupees, 216 rupees needs to be reversed. Okay, in the first quarter based on the turnover. The same example will carry on. So guys, this is all about Rule 43. This is a brief introduction about the Rule 43 and the basic understanding. This will give you a basic understanding about the Rule 43 and its approach. So that is all from my side. This is my first video. Hope you will be able to understand at least some percentage of that. So that's all from my end. If you have any questions, do let me know. We'll come back in my next video. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye bye.